Planters Bank was founded in 1946 by farmers and business owners because they needed a community bank that knew them and understood their business. A lot has changed since then, but Merchants and Planters Bank is still employee-owned and operated, and we're still committed to knowing and understanding the needs of every customer we serve. Great rates, fast turnarounds, and experienced local bankers ready to work for you. That's why you should choose Merchants and Planters Bank. Stop in any of our 12 locations or contact us at mnpbank.com.
Hello, y'all. Welcome to Sports Unleashed. Hayden Schultz, Ben Black here. We are without David Black. Josh, do we have audio?
We kicked him off the broadcast.
David, we decided to...
I told him, I called him, and I said, look, Dave, you only had, a handful of people reach out and say, look, we want to keep you on the broadcast. And so we just went ahead and told David and said, hey, look, this ain't working out anymore. You're old.
Our viewings are down. Viewers are down. And probably time you just step away from the program.
You just need something young, some fresh, and need something new. And I thought David not being here might be what we need tonight.
It might be the spark we need. Well, we're going to get right into it, folks. We're going to talk about some Greyhound football. We're going to talk about some Razorback football. Hayden Schultz, the 2021 playoff bracket looks pretty good for the Hounds. Starting out, let's talk about that. We've got Lincoln at home. What do we expect to see in that football game?
Well, we talked about it last week with Tyler Asher coming back, and that would be an awesome thing. I know Coach Hinesley would think it's awesome, a kid that he coached, and Asher, getting to come back to his home field that he played on. I know that's got to be a bittersweet moment almost. I've talked to him occasionally past week and a little bit this weekend.
Pretty excited.
Breaking down film, and he's just
against his old alma mater.
It's exciting. He said, I'm up for the challenge. And we obviously wish him best, but at the end of the day, he knows it's go Greyhound country over here.
That's right.
But it's a cool thing that he gets to come back and. Looking on paper, the Hounds are well above probably what Lincoln's got as far as talent. Lincoln's O-line's not much bigger than ours, but they got some guys who will get to the football. Their defense look like they'll swarm to the football. They have 2 or 3 losses on the year from wing T teams. And so, it's something.
It might be some of their kryptonite there.
And it might be.
It reminds me a lot of the Greyhounds. A lot of times that we haven't played our best football against teams that slow it down and run the wing team.
And Cedarville was a team last week that they thought they could beat, and they ended up coming up short on that game. But they've got a stud, and they're under center, and they do those types of things. So maybe playing Newport, it's better for them to have more space. I know offensively they're a lot like what Donnie Harrison was. It's kind of the same terminology in that aspect. They'll run some counters. They're going to run some traps, buck sweeps, things to get linemen moving because they are undersized.
Take advantage of the squad they have.
Right. And but like I said, you look on paper and they're probably a little overmatched as far as the athletes. So obviously, I think the Hounds have got a good chance to win this football game at home. Lincoln's got a 4.5, almost 5-hour drive, and that always plays a role. So you're not going to overlook these guys. It's the first round of the playoffs, and these guys.
Well, they're in the playoffs for a reason.
Well, these guys upset Atkins last year. Went to Atkins and upset them, and it was like, these kids
Lincoln
can play.
Is about it, right?
And a team that's not historically gifted, you could say. They're not a 10-0 team ever. They're a team that
they're a hard-nosed football team that's going to come in and they're going to work hard and they're going to do the little things right.
When they're up, they're going to be a good football team and do the little things right. And then when they're down, they're rock bottom down. But made the playoffs this year and won a few conference games and getting the chance to do that, getting the chance to come to Newport. These guys are going to come ready to play. The Hounds have still got to play football.
Well, we say it every week on our broadcast and on the sports show. when you're the Newport Greyhounds, you have a target on your back. People understand our history, they understand our tradition, and everybody, no matter who you are, wants to come in and wants to spoil that history and spoil that.
Absolutely.
I mean, who doesn't want to be the team that beat the Newport Greyhounds and put them out of the playoffs? So those guys are coming ready, guns loaded, going to pull anything out of the hat. So it's going to be a good football game, great first round of the playoffs. You know, I get to looking at the bracket, and you never want to overlook anybody. You never want to do that. But there's going to be some good matchups week one. Some good quality football teams, and then just depending on who wins and how it goes. Obviously, you know, the Hounds would have a chance to look at Prescott. You know, those two teams played early on and did not go the way the Hounds wanted it to. But just to know in the back of your mind, I know when I was a player, and you can elaborate on this, but to know that you have a chance for a revenge game on somebody, it means a lot, man.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, we talked about it after that game was, what are you going to learn from it? Sometimes you learn more from a big loss like that, taking one off the chin, than you do a win that you beat the team that you're supposed to beat, and you beat them by 40. Those are the games you don't learn very much from because that team just wasn't better than you. But this team is as good or better than you. What are you going to do?
And they have proven it once this year.
What are you going to do? And just looking at the bracket, obviously Hoxie at the top, you know, they're undefeated this year. Cade Forrester, I know, he's slinging the rock over there. He's running the football. They're still building off of what they had their run last year, but they get the bye. The Cedarville Pirates got to play Atkins, and that's a game where I don't really know a lot about either team. I watched a little bit of Cedarville. The Pirates of Cedarville, I think, probably get that done. And then you go to McGee, Walnut Ridge, and I think the Bobcats are just a little undermanned for McGee. They've still got everybody pretty much that they had last year, and they played in the state title game. So, I mean,
great football team. Like you said, they made it all the way to the state championship game. And then you got Melbourne and Perryville. What do we know about Perryville?
I don't know a lot about Perryville. I haven't seen them, but I think Melbourne's a team that can make some noise because they can play anybody to a level where it might slow the pace down. They can do those things, and they can score, and they can throw the deep ball this year. It's seen that time or two, especially against Harding. Went and watched them. They got a couple big plays off them, got behind the secondary. Melbourne's probably a sleeper in this, and then obviously Prescott playing Lakeside. Lakeside hasn't won a game this year, I don't think. They were one of those teams that were in a 5-man conference that everybody made it. So, I mean, obviously you got to go with Prescott because
Prescott would be the obvious favorite.
Those guys drop 50 a night. It doesn't matter who they play. And then you go to Hackett and Bismarck. Don't know a lot about either team. But I would probably say that Bismarck has got a decent football team, or typically does. I don't really know a lot about either. And then Newport Lincoln. And then the Paris and Riverview game, Paris is probably going to be a double-digit favorite against Riverview, but Riverview has won their past 2 conference games.
Yeah, they've been on a roll. They've got a little, some momentum going into the playoffs.
Went and beat Salem, I believe, on the road, and then beating Mountain View team. The Greyhounds field too. Yeah. You know, and
Mountain View's a good football team.
I mean, Riverview. I'm not saying that watch the upset, but this team's getting hot at the right time. They've won a couple games. They feel like they can win some football games. So you never know in high school football. And then you go to Charleston. They've got the bye. This is the game that I've got circled, Osceola and Center Point. That's the game where I'm going to be checking the score because I think the Noles go down against the Knights of Center Point.
I think the Center Point Knights have enough to get it done against the Seminoles from Osceola.
Well, you just look at Center Point, and they play in that tough conference with Prescott. They had them down 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. You know, and anybody that could score that many points against the Curly Wolves and be in a game like that,
yeah, you're doing something right.
They've got some athletes, and Osceola's got a good football team this year. They fell to Hoxie, I think 21-14, but I think the Knights have got a very good chance of making a run. And then Harding and West Fork. I think West Fork's one of those teams that hadn't won maybe one game or something like that. They're in one of those conferences too.
So Harding, the obvious favorite there.
Harding would be obviously the favorite. And then Rising and Jessieville. I think Rising's 8-2 this year. They're always a top 10 team in the 3A.
It's one of those teams that are like Newport, just traditional winners.
I'll agree. And obviously, Boonville and Salem, you got to like Boonville. Those guys over there, they don't have to rebuild. They reload every single year. They run that dreaded wing tee and bringing little guys.
They have done a great job at perfecting the craft in the wing tee, and that slow, methodical, get it done, big guys grinding it out. They have done a great job at perfecting their craft.
When you watch Boonville and you can watch them the past 10, 15 years, and you see the running back, he's got X amount of yards, you're like, man, their line's got to be awesome. They've got to have some 300-pounders, right. And they're not.
Yeah.
I remember playing those guys in high school, and they're 5'8", 5'9", 215, 225. They'll have a couple guys who go for the 250 to 280 range. They'll have a few of those, like most teams do in 3A. But those guards are the meanest guys in the world. Those guys, they're true pulling guards. They're coming out there and they're coming to knock somebody's block off. So I obviously like Boonville in that. And another one right here, Manila and Danville Littlejohns. Manila upset Osceola last week, and I think that they beat the Littlejohns in Danville. I think Manila's 8-2 this year. I think they've lost to Hoxie, and then they lost a preseason game to a bigger classification. I like Manila, the Lions. They've got some things going over there. I know they had a new coach maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and obviously he's got things going in the right direction. And then the game that I think is a definite upset right here is Glen Rose versus Dollarway. I think Glen Rose is 8-2 and Dollarway is 5-4 or something like that. I was looking at it today. I think Dollarway is a team that gets it done on the road at Glen Rose.
Well, Dollarway, obviously everybody from Newport knows the history there. Just late 90s or mid 90s, all through the 80s and 90s were just a powerhouse. I mean, you always knew whether you're going to Dollarway. I played at Dollarway. I believe it was a 12-8 game that we won in the mud and rain, and it was an unbelievable victory. Those guys they had players on both sides of the football.
I remember going there as a 10th grader and playing Dollarway, and we had a chance to kick a field goal to win, an 18-yard field goal, a little chip shot, and they end up blocking it to beat us, end up winning that game by 2. And then the following year, we're the number 1 team. They're the number 1 team in the state. We're number 2 preseason.
Okay.
Both teams undefeated in the non-conference play. We beat Nettleton, we beat Greene County Tech, we beat Sylvan Hills, and beat those 3 5A teams like a drum.
Right.
I mean, we had
pretty handily.
And we're feeling real good. The helicopter drops on the field, buddy. It's live at Legendary Greyhound Field, and they come out and wax us 42-0. Those guys got off the bus, and it looked like UAPB showed up that night. Buddy, those guys in Dollarway, and they're one of those teams like West Helena. Buddy, if they're on and they've got a good class, you better get out of the way because they're one of those teams that are here, but they've had some teams throughout the years that'll fall off or have some things not go their way. But I've watched a little bit of Dollarway, and they've still got athletes all over that field. It's all about putting it together and having a guy that can lead you there, and I think Dollarway's got that to where they can tear off and win a couple of conference games. But obviously, in the bottom side of the bracket, Harding and Charleston is going to be your 2 favorites there. I don't really looking at it, and I'm not taking anything away from any other team because I don't know a lot about them.
These are just all of our opinions, and we, like I said, we're kind of uneducated on a lot of these teams, but we're just guessing.
Especially the Northwest Arkansas region. Don't know a ton about them, and a little bit of the Southwest, a little bit. Southeast know quite a bit about them, and the level of talent they always bring. And then your Northeast we know a lot about because we play those guys. But you got to like, and I don't understand when I look at these ratings how Harding's like number 5 or number 4 when they've won back-to-back state champs.
Right? Why are they not the undisputed favorite?
These guys got beat by Valley View, who Valley View I think was runner-up in the 5A East.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that was a game that got called on a Wednesday and said, well, hey, we're going to play Friday. On a Wednesday morning, hey, coach, you want to play? Yeah, we'll go down here, no film. We'll take
line up and take our guys.
We'll take our 38 kids down here, and we'll play y'all's 89 that y'all have got, and we'll suit it up. And they had a 2-point conversion play to win the game and just didn't come away with it.
Had an opportunity to win the football game.
And then Harding's other loss, they played, I think, Briarcrest and Memphis, and I think it was a 9-point game. It was a single touchdown late in the fourth quarter. They ended up getting a late score, make it 9 or a 10-point game. So, I mean, these guys, I mean, you can't overlook Harding. You can't say, well, they're not as good as they were last year. You're probably right. They're not as good as they were last year. But they beat everybody they played last year. They scored 71 points in the state championship game. So, yeah, they probably aren't as good as they were last year. But I guarantee you, they're still pretty good.
Still pretty solid.
They've got a lot of those kids back. I thought their O-line and D-line was tremendous. I thought those guys straight got after you. Miller's pretty good, obviously. Smith, they've got some receivers that can straight go. So I see Harding with an opportunity to go back to a state title. And then you look at the top of the bracket and you're like, golly, Newport got a terrible draw. And we've said it from the get-go. To be the best, you got to beat the best. And that's a little Ric Flair quote for you. But you got Hoxie, you got McGee, and you got Prescott, you got Newport. I mean, you've got some.
Those are some names that have traditionally been pretty solid in the postseason.
I'm just looking at. I mean, Melbourne's got an opportunity. Obviously, Paris, don't know a ton about them, but I mean, those guys. I mean, when you look at it, you obviously say Prescott's one of those teams you could see being there, and Hoxie's a team who has gotten a lot of exposure last year, getting to the semifinals and losing to McGee in a game where I thought, Hoxie, if it was on a dry field and they didn't have to play at McGee.
And they had some personnel issues too, did they not?
And Hoxie had a couple guys out.
That's what I'm saying. Couple guys that were pretty instrumental in getting them to where they were.
And the guy who stepped up, Cade Forrester, who was kind of their guy who said, hey, we'll play you here, we'll play you here. He stepped at quarterback. Well, guess what? He's a full-time quarterback now.
Right.
And this guy's thrown over 1,000. I think he's rushed for 1,000.
Well, that's a guy, just stepped in there and took charge. And like you said, took advantage of his opportunity and proved that he was able to run, take control of the offense. But Hoxie's no doubt been on a roll.
And then everybody talks about Prescott, and they're just as good as advertised. When we saw them, they've got guys who look like they're going to go play Division I football.
Well, they have guys that will.
And I mean, they always are a team where if you want to get there, that's a team that you've got to beat or play them, see them at War Memorial and have a chance to beat them. I'm telling you, the team that I like is McGee with the experience that they got last year. Got the same quarterback back, big guy. Yeah. He looks like he's about 7'6" when you watch him. I mean, he is absolutely huge. And McGee doesn't do anything fancy. They've been running this same offense for I don't know how long, and it works.
Well, the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
they'll have a couple little nub backs, and they'll have a tailback, and they'll have a fullback that's mean, and he'll hit a hole, and that's what they got. They could slow the whole football game down. I know we've went down there twice and had to take a couple off the chin. One, I thought we should have won the football game and just didn't come away with it. And the other one, I just thought that they were better than us. They had a better game plan and execution than we did. Played them here, too. We went there twice and played them here. We played them 3 times, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
In the past 5 years. So, I mean, they've got
the one that sticks out in my mind was the fake punt. Thought we had them on the rails.
That was a game I thought we should have won.
We should have won that football game. I agree. And it was 4th and, 12, 14, 15, maybe even 20. And deep in their own territory. And you go, these guys are punting. There's no doubt about it. And they go for it, and they get it. They convert on 4th down.
Yep.
And it just
run the fake punt perfection.
Yes, it was just a dagger, and it was hard to overcome that. But that's football. I want to remind everybody that the program is brought to you by Jackson's Funeral Home. They are at the 1900 block of Malcolm Avenue. Our family serving your family. Jan, Jackson, Maris, and all the crew there. Also, Dia Scrap Metal Recycling Center. They have a new building at 3924 Highway 367 North in Newport. We buy cars, iron, copper, cans, brass, steel, stainless, electric motors, and much, much more. Give those guys a call if you have some junk laying around and you want to make some extra cash. I know with the way things are going in the United States right now, that junk iron is still at a pretty good price. It's bringing pretty good money, and if you have some things that are worth nothing to you, those guys will probably give you a pretty good price for it. Also, C&M Ag Depot at 2900 Highway 367 North in Newport. They offer a wide variety of hunting supplies, Carhartt clothing, lacrosse boots, Milwaukee and DeWalt power tools, just about anything you need agriculture related. They have a lot of hunting products. Matter of fact, I bought some ammunition from those guys last week. Had more ammunition on the shelf than I had seen anywhere in the state of Arkansas in a long, long time, and I'm a gun guy, so I look everywhere I go. But those guys had quite a bit of ammunition considering how the ammunition sales have been. Also, Fletcher Land Surveying, Cha-Cha Fletcher. Before you build that fence, make sure that you have the accurate boundaries. You can give Kenny Fletcher a call at 870-523-5625. We're going to take a small break here and going to bring you an ad from the Bank of England Mortgage Company, and we'll be right back with you right after this.
Okay, the Unity Health Newport player of the game is Antoine Hardaway. And Antoine, it's not what we wanted. We were playing for a conference championship tonight. We come up a little short, but let me tell you, we watched you all night long. You were all over the field. Tell me about the play. Tell me about the game and your thoughts.
The game on defense, it was a pretty good game. You know what I'm saying? We came out fired up. We came out with good energy. Can't give a better effort than that. This is a good team that we're gonna have to beat going on down the road.
Well, there's no doubt that this bunch is a good team, and we're a good team also. And, you go into the half, and, you got a real tight game, and then we kick. And I know the halftime talk had to be we're going to get the ball at the 20-yard line, and it didn't work out for us. You remember the kick, and the kick came back in, and it just, we got it at the 2.
Well, I don't really know what happened about that, but I'm not on kickoff. I wasn't on kickoff or nothing like this. I don't really know what happened on that.
So we're going to be off this coming week. We're in the playoffs. We're a number 2 seed. We've got a chance to play a couple of football games at home. What's going to be the mindset of you guys after coming up a little short, but that's just part of it?
To get better and beat these type of teams. We got to beat these type of teams. We want to win the state championship.
There's no doubt that you have to do that, and I don't know how many tackles you got, but I noticed that you were all over the field tonight. You were giving pressure to the quarterback, and it's all about effort. It was just great effort on your part.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm a senior. I got to be a leader. I got to lead for the juniors, sophomores, freshmen. So it's just what I got to do. I couldn't do it without my team, though.
Antoine Hardaway is our Unity Health player of the game. We appreciate you, and more importantly than appreciate you being the star of the game, I appreciate you being a fine young man and the effort that you give. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Unity Health player of the game, Antoine Hardaway. Subway in the Walmart Supercenter. Coach Mark Hansley Show. Coach, Antoine did a great job of just talking about the effort tonight, and one of the things that we try to do is you got to have effort, and our kids played with effort.
They did, and I told them all week about a mindset that I wanted. I've talked to them about today about doing their best and doing it for each other, and all the things we're supposed to say. No regrets, no excuses, and really that's what they did. 34-3 doesn't really look like what we really showed tonight, and I thought our team fought. I mean, that was the best quarter or half of football we've done in a long time. I thought it was a complete game. We had them on the ropes. We just couldn't finish that second half, and that's what I told the kids. We've got to learn how to be elite and finish the game.
Coach, I know at halftime you're going in there and you're talking. You said, look, we're going to get the ball. We're going to get it at the 20.
Yeah.
We're going to get the ball at the 20, and then here's what we're going to do. And lo and behold, I don't guess I've ever seen that, where the ball just hit at the 1 and just bounced backward.
I'm telling you, they find a way every time just to make something happen. And, you're right. We come in, we talk about the points that we got at the end of the half. We went into half saying, hey, look, we're on top right here. Let's stay on top. Let's get this ball. Let's move it. How are we going to score? Let's keep doing what we're doing defensively, tweak here, tweak there. I mean, we really had a good plan even coming out of half, and that's the game, and that's how it works, and our kids have to learn from it. I can't stress it enough. Every loss has to have a lesson, and that's what I tell our kids. And David, we just got to get better. We just got to get better. Win or lose, we've got to get better every game, and we got to really be optimistic and positive going to Week 10 in the playoffs.
Well, in Week 10, I assume that we're still working on a game. Is that a possibility or not?
I'm working every single day. I got a couple of games that are maybes. If something happens, there's what if there's we've got a team we're playing next week, coach, or they may have COVID shut down. Here's what can you play if we? So there's things in the mix, not definites, but there's things in the mix, and I'm constantly looking.
Well, the great thing is we're going in as a number 2 seed. Riverview beat Mountain View tonight, which guaranteed us a number 2 spot, and it guarantees us a couple of home games if you can win the first one. And so, boy, you get a couple, and then we always talk about that Thanksgiving deal. Just looking ahead, I mean, that possibility exists.
It does, and if you can't be the one, let's be the 2, right? I mean, you gotta find something positive out of it. They're a good football team, David. I don't think anybody can argue that. But what I'm trying to tell the kids is we've got to beat good football teams, and if we're going to be a good football team, so we've got to go back to work. That's what I told the kids. We're going to trick or treat, and then we got to go back to work on Monday.
Coach Mark Hansley, and he is always coming to give his thoughts, win or lose, and we appreciate you, Coach. Appreciate you taking time to join us, and we'll get after it if it's this week. Hopefully we'll get after it this week. If not, we'll get after it the first week of the playoffs.
I'm telling you, that's all I want. I just want to keep getting after it, Dave.
As always, from down here on the field,
go Hounds.
Well, we're back here with you in the studio, and turn that audio off. Hayden Schultz, we want to talk a little bit about the Arkansas Razorbacks, but before we do, I want to mention a few of our sponsors that help bring this program to you. Fathead Pizza being one of those. It's one word, all caps, great pizza, fresh hot sandwiches, and a salad supreme that's second to none. You can call 201-1313. They'll have you an order in about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how busy they are. Also, I want to talk about White River Health System. They have the care you need 7 days a week. You can see Dr. Randall Hunt, Dr. Nicole Lawson, and APRN Marlo Hargrave for your primary care needs at Newport Diagnostic Medical Clinic. You can call 870-512-2500 for White River Health Systems of Newport. Also, Farmers Tire Mart, where the rubber meets the road. The Bain family's been there a long, long time. Been in the tire business and taking care of the folks around Newport and Jackson County for many, many years. El Puente Mexican Restaurant. It is the absolute best Mexican food in the world. It's second to none. Manuel has perfected his craft out there on Highway 367 North in Newport. If you want some lunch specials, stop in from 11 to 2. If you want some supper, some dinner after that, go out there and see Manuel and all the gang. Nothing like El Puente Mexican Restaurant. Also, Delta Manufacturing, been in business for a long, long time. Dale Eves been out there and built his first trailer in his backyard and just started on a whim. And obviously great work ethic and had a great business plan because he's been in business for, 50-plus years. Delta Trailer Manufacturing. Dale, Mary, Amy, and Todd Norris, all the crew, 870-523-8941. Want to mention Temp Pro, which is Sam Laster and John Laster, the Laster brothers. Heating and air conditioning. They offer Train units, second to none units. You have 10-year warranty on a lot of that stuff. You can give them a call with any of your heating or air needs, 501-827-3213. And Blue Bridge Brews and Bakery, specialty coffees and hot, iced, or blended lattes, specialty teas and smoothies. Delectable treats like cupcakes, cookies, cinnamon rolls, cheesecakes, and muffins. Open 6 to 4 Monday through Friday, 8 to 2 on Saturday. You can order ahead for special orders or stop by 2600 Doyle Street in the same building as Cable 15 TV. You can give them a call, 512-9548. That's Blue Bridge Brews and Bakery. That is our sponsors for this program here tonight. I also like to thank Josh for always producing and directing, Hayden Schultz for doing what you do, being the voice of the Greyhounds, and David Black, who couldn't be here with us tonight. But Hayden, before we get out of here, let's talk about the Arkansas Razorbacks and the big victory against Mississippi State in the conference win.
Well, I think that it was a good win. I don't think the Hogs got back into the top 25 for whatever reason. I think they were 30 going into that game, and then you beat the 17th ranked team in the nation. Obviously, you beat them at home, and they missed a field goal, but you beat them. And you look at this Hog team, and these guys are 6-3, and got a very good chance to finish 8-4. I think Alabama's obviously a little much for them. Got a good chance to go 8-4, and you talk about a season that's turned around and got some things in the right direction. And then you just look at your losses. Hey, we got beat by Ole Miss on a 2-point conversion play.
Yeah, had a chance to win the football game. Got an All-American quarterback.
Who's a top 25 team. And then you go to Georgia, who nobody's beat.
And not going to.
More than likely not.
Georgia's going to win it all. That's my prediction.
And then you talk about Auburn, another top 25 team. So, I mean, you talk about your losses, and you
the
say –
old saying of good losses, those are 3 great losses.
Yeah.
There is such a thing.
I mean, Auburn's got things going, and obviously they beat Ole Miss and got that thing done for them, and things going on the right direction for them. But, I mean, the Hogs have obviously got to finish out and, got Alabama. That's going to be tough. LSU is a winnable football game, I think. I think Missouri's obviously a winnable football game for this team. And, well, you got a chance to really – exceed expectations. I think when we were talking about it early in the year, hey, if this guy can win 5 games this year, if he can win his non-conference and win a conference game, maybe 2, I think he's solidified himself. And then you talk about a chance to win 8 games, possibly 9 if things go that. I mean,
well, a year ago, you just think 365 days ago, what were we saying? We were saying, man, I just want to just beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Those non-conference games. The home games are those gimme teams that you think, and there's not a lot. As a matter of fact, there are no gimmies in the SEC, but those games that you think, we're better than this program, we should beat this program on a good year, you want to win those. And we have above and beyond exceeded expectations of that. I mean, it's been a successful season, to say the least.
Well, and then you go and you say, we got the hardest schedule in the country this year. I think we were number 1 this year in the toughest schedule.
Schedule strength.
And then you say, hey, you got 5 home games
this
year. You got 5 home games. One of them played in Little Rock, one of them played in Arlington.
Right, that's
so you had 3 home games, and they weren't against anybody. You're playing your UAPBs which Texas, yes, probably, especially at the time. But you talk about, we got to go play in Arlington, and that's why I don't like that.
Well, you get on an airplane or a bus, I assume airplane, and you fly to Texas, which is a couple, however long of a flight. It's not a home game. It's not coming to your dressing room that you've been practicing in and get ready and go out to the field that you've been working on.
It's still a hotel stay.
That's right.
You got to go somewhere and stay that you're not accustomed to, and you can't wake up in the bed that you slept in.
You're not going to leave the stadium that night and go to your house where you live at.
And I think if I thought the Little Rock game against UAPB, I like that.
Yep.
But it's honestly a better or closer drive for them than it is us.
Right. Yeah. It's more of a home game for the visiting team.
And I know nobody's listening, but I really think you need to go back and you need to have the LSU during Thanksgiving week, and you need to play them on Thanksgiving Day, and you need to play them right there at War Memorial Stadium, because that was – you'll get a crowd for that. You'll get some people – not saying that people didn't show up for the UAPB. I think that's cool that we do that. I do not like Texas A&M playing them in Texas.
Right.
We get to play them at Jerry's World. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, Jerry's a great supporter. We appreciate that, but it doesn't help. it doesn't feel like anymore like a home game.
That shouldn't
to
count
us.
as a home game
That's
to
right,
us.
that's right.
If we're going to do that, hey, look, Texas A&M, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play at y'all's place this year, and then the next year you're going to play at us, and then the next year we're going to go to you. You need to have something like that, and I think that they're getting away from kind of that tradition. Boy, there was nothing like War Memorial, Little Rock, Thanksgiving week, and you're playing the LSU
You knew it
Tigers.
was coming.
They're number one in the country, and the Hogs ain't ranked, and you got Darren McFadden, and you go down there and you beat those guys at War Memorial. That's what Razorback football is about. If you're going to do those things, if you're going to have home games that they say,
Right.
and you're going to do it at Little Rock, do it against somebody like that. I'm not saying do it against Missouri. They say battle for the line. That's not a big rivalry, I think. Play LSU at Little Rock if you're going to play them.
I agree.
And let's get it rocking there. And I say you take away from the Texas A&M. But back to it, Hogs, great season regardless of how it finishes out. This Sam Pittman has taken over, and he's got guys buying into what he's preaching.
He has created a culture, and it could be a monster if you're not. If we're not careful, there's going to be some. We're going to continue to grow on this success. We're going to continue to be successful. We're going to continue to beat teams that we don't know if we could beat. We think we should, but we don't know. Major success there from Sam Pittman, and it all starts at the top. There's no doubt that guy has come in and said, "This is the culture that I know you can be. This is the team I know you can be. Let's be that team," and he's gotten it done.
What sucks about a guy like Sam Pittman is he's a winner, and he's going to go win wherever he's at. He doesn't care where.
Right.
He's done it at Arkansas under Bielema as O-line coach. He went to Georgia, obviously a winner there, and been different places, and it's got a good track record. The biggest thing that he's going to have is they're going to continuously win, and people are going to go after our assistant coaches. They're going to go after Kendall Briles and Barry Odom. They're going to get rid of those guys and let them have an opportunity to be a head coach, which getting Barry Odom from Missouri as a head coach to come and take and say, look, you need to be my defense coordinator. This guy obviously trusted him, but he's a guy that you might see him next year. He might be the head coach at Vanderbilt.
And well-deserving. And I'll say this, and being in sales, a salesman told me one time, he said, if I hire you, he said, the reason I'm hiring you as the employee is because I think you're good enough to go out and operate on your own. If I didn't think you were good enough to go out on your own, I wouldn't have hired you.
Right.
So it's kind of the same mentality. You hire guys that maybe had a little tough stay somewhere or didn't work out somewhere, and in the coaching world, that's just part of it. But I want, as the head coach, I want a guy that can go be the head coach somewhere else, to be my offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, O-line coach. I want a guy that will eventually be capable and capable now of being a head coach on his own. And that just comes with the territory. I think Pittman is the right man for the job. I think that, like you said, the coaches have bought in, the players have bought in, the fans have bought in, and that's what it takes to create a successful, winning culture. The guy at the top, if everybody buys in, everybody trusts that guy, trusts what he says, and he does what he says, and he holds himself accountable, he's going to be successful.
And you're talking about a guy, this is year 2, and last year you can't even really say he got, some of his guys in.
Right.
You can't even say that with COVID and everything going. And so
horrible time to take over.
And you always say you got to give a head coach 4 to 5 years before you can start judging. 4 to 5 years, he's got his guys in now. He's got what he thinks is going to work. And this guy's doing it with Chad Morris's guys. And not to knock on Chad Morris for being a recruiter, I will as a head coach, because I think he's about the worst head coach I've ever seen. And I'm good riddance.
He wasn't the guy for the job at the time. I'll say that.
Well, he ain't a guy for anybody because he went to Auburn the next year and he wasn't very good there either. And he's going to coach high school football the rest of his life, and that's okay. That's probably what he needs to do, but he don't need to come back to Arkansas, that's for sure.
I don't think Chad Morris will ever be back at Arkansas in any capacity. I may be wrong. I don't know anything about it, but I would be willing to bet that he's probably not going to be around.
I won't watch it again. I won't watch another game. I'll tell you that, Ben.
Well, it's been a fun night. David Black, we've missed you. Got a customized Sports Unleashed. Look back. We're going to look back at the Win 1991 highlights. I believe we watched it last week some, but we're going to look at it again this evening. Just a great football game in Greyhound history. The Win Yellow Jackets and Newport Greyhounds 1991. Hounds went on that year to win a state championship. One of the teams that, as I visited with Bill Keaty and Kenny Black, Coach Mathis, and I don't know that I've ever visited with Coach Lewis about that football team, but they all said it was just we graduated a bunch of seniors that year. You didn't really know how good we were going to be. We knew we had some talent, knew we had some younger guys coming up that could possibly fill some roles, but went 14-0 and the last Greyhound football team to win a state championship. Great football team, no doubt about it. But we're going to show that to you guys. If I can get it pulled up here on my screen, David Black, sorry you couldn't be with us tonight. We hope you get to feeling better. David has had some IV infusions and gonna be back with us, the good Lord willing, pretty soon.
I just hope that he's able to do the game Friday. I will not be there Friday, and boy, that kind of stings. I've got a wedding I got to go to in Destin. And Josh is shaking his head no like I'm lying, but he'll see come Friday night that I won't be here because it's.
Well, I can do this.
It's truthful.
I can be the play-by-play. I can be the color, and I can read the ads if I have to. Now, what I can't do, Josh, is film. So I need Nation to be there.
Can't do all four of them.
I can't do all four. I might could, but it'd be pretty difficult.
It wouldn't be the best view we've ever had.
No,
that's for sure.
Probably not. There's nothing like a Nation on the camera back there. He does a great job for us. But anyway, as always, go Hounds.
Go Hounds.
Playoffs starting.
Go get after Lincoln this week.
Let's go get Lincoln. Here's 1991 Greyhounds versus Wynn at legendary Greyhound Field. So long, everybody.
First down for the Jackets. They start at their 25, and we'll see the awesome threesome. See what the Newport defense can do with them. 9:44 to go, clock moving, first quarter, no score. Jackets to the line of scrimmage. Bronner is the quarterback. There's a quick pitch to the left side, breaks tackles into the secondary, and he's gone. It's a touchdown for Wynn on the first play of the game, as number 31, Eugene Meben, breaks through the Greyhound defenders and goes for the touchdown, 75 yards. Woo! And Meben ignites the Wynn crowd across the way. Just a quick pitch to the left side, and Meben goes 75 yards. He broke two tackles at the line of scrimmage, and the Jackets jump to an early 6-0 lead with the extra point attempt coming. They're 7-1. They lost on opening night to Dollaway 21-0. They've been a different team since then. Quick pitch to the right side. He turns the corner, has some running room. First down yardage, and he may go. 20, 15, 10, down near the goal line, knocked out of bounds short of the goal line. And the Jackets running rampant wide against the Greyhounds. And that again is Eugene Meben, and he carries it down inside the 5-yard line. And David had outside speed there, just absolutely tremendous for the Jackets. Newport can't stop them. Tremendous speed by the Wynn Yellow Jackets. They're blocking up front. When they get the ball to the corner, they've just got to block one guy, and they're getting him blocked. Newport did catch him down there inside the 1-yard line. Wynn with a great opportunity here to really put Newport down early in the ball game. First and goal from about the 2, we'll call it. Jackets in their diamond backfield formation, and now perhaps a violation as one of the Jackets looks like he lined up in the neutral zone. That'll cost him 5 yards. Make it a little more difficult anyway. Illegal procedure against Wynn. 6:10 to go in the first quarter, and Wynn leads it 7-0. Greyhounds have been stunned here in the early going by the Jackets. Oh boy, and they have done it running to the corner twice. First and goal from the 7-yard line. Jackets are set to give us to the second back through. He's hit it about the 5 and knocked down pretty hard by the Greyhound defense. Short gain as Cross carried the football. It'll be second down and goal from about the 6-yard line. He got just short yardage, and timeout is asked for by Wynn. We'll pause 30 seconds, 7-0. Jackets lead it. We'll be right back. Run their base offense and run it around the Greyhounds. Well, I think one of Newport's biggest fears was the great speed that we've talked about so much here in the first 6 minutes of the ball game. Wynn has shown that speed. Boy, for a goal line stand here would certainly give Newport the momentum. Here's where the fans need to get into the ball game. Newport defense struggled a little at times against Osceola and had their problems against Mariana. And Wynn has them on the ropes here in the early going.
Second down and goal from the 6. There's the trap play up the middle. He gets a couple of yards before he's hit hard by the Greyhound defenders. It'll be third and goal. Well, Newport making somewhat of a goal line stand. Third and goal from the 5-yard line for the Jackets. 5:45 to go. First quarter. Wynn leading 7-0. You hold them here on third down, and you've got a chance to turn momentum. You hold them on third, you set up a decision for them whether they want to try for a touchdown or a field goal. But here's the key play, third and goal from the 5. The quick pitch, second back through, off to the 3-yard line and driven down short of the goal line. To about the 3. It'll be fourth and goal for the Wynn Yellow Jackets. So tough when you get inside that 10-yard line to carry that thing. Your whole offensive scheme changes. So the Greyhounds trying to make a great goal line stand at the 4-yard line. Will Wynn go for it? 4:55 to go. No sign of a field goal here. They're going to go for it on fourth down. It might be the key play of the football game early in the first quarter. I think you look for the tight end, number 88, on a pop pass. The linebacker must be there for the Hounds. Fourth and goal. They spread the offense out. Quarterback rolls to his right. Quarterback's being chased. Quarterback is... He did not get anywhere close. The Hounds have held at the 11 or 12-yard line. Boy, you talking about a momentum change. The Hound defense comes up. Wynn had run the football down to the 1-yard line. They got the penalty. Back to the 7. The Hound defense is held, and this is an opportunity of a lifetime for the Greyhound football team. And now Miller might be able to start cranking it up. 7-0 Jackets lead. Here's Darling coming to the right side. He'll pick up double coverage. Reardon goes in motion. Third down and 6. Miller, fake handoff. Miller option play. Miller cuts up inside. Miller looking for the first down. Miller has it. Miller to the 10-yard line, to the 5. Miller to the 1-yard line. To the 1-yard line. Paul Miller running over, around, through people. Carries it down near the 1-yard line for the Greyhounds. Everybody covered the pitch man that time, and Paul Miller sprinted 23 yards to the 1. Great execution by Miller. Again, the pitch man was covered. He just tucked the ball up under the hand, under the arm, and went straddling down to the goal line, and the Hounds knocking on the door, trying to tie this thing up here early in the second quarter. First and goal, Greyhounds at the 1. Unbalanced line to the right side for the Greyhounds. From the 1-yard line, Miller straight ahead. Ellis, touchdown. Touchdown, Ellis to the Greyhounds. A 1-yard dive for Ellis. Denmark will come in to try the extra point. I think extra points aren't important. Remember, it's very, very wet down there, where McClarty has to snap the ball, and Charlie Moore has to hold it, and the hands are cold. Jesper has to kick it. The footing is poor. There's a snap. Ball down. Kick on the way. Kick is good. 11:42 to go in the first half. We're tied at 7. Back with a kickoff in 30 seconds. The clock is running out. That is the end of the first half from Newport. And what a half of football we have seen. It's the Newport Greyhounds 7. The Wynn Yellow Jackets 7. We'll be back with halftime in 2 minutes. Statistics. Thank you very much, Bud. And it's a football game that's been a defensive struggle, and we thought it was going to be a defensive struggle coming into tonight's ball game. Wynn had 20 rushes for 161 yards in the first half, 75 of that coming on the big Meben run. Passing department 0 for 2, obviously for no yards. Total offense 161 yards for the Wynn Yellow Jackets. First downs for Wynn, they only had 3, and turnovers none for Wynn. Penalties, 4 penalties for 40 yards for the Wynn Yellow Jackets. Individual statistics, Cobb rushed the football 5 times for a -2 yards. And Meben 6 times for 104 yards and 1 touchdown. Statistics for Newport. Newport also carried the football 20 times for 92 yards, and the passing department 6 for 20 yards, total offense of 112. Newport picked up 6 first downs, most of those first downs coming on the big scoring drive. And turnovers, Newport had the 1 long interception. Miller had an interception. Penalties, Newport had 1 for 15 yards. individual rushing. Tony Phillips, who's number 2 in the state in rushing for the Newport Greyhounds, carried the ball 7 times for 42 yards. Chris Ellis 8 times for 10 yards and 1 touchdown. And Paul Miller running the option play 5 times for 40 yards. As we said, Miller was 2 out of 6 passing for 20 yards. So statistically, we're pretty close.
David, as we talked about, I don't think that either team, Wynn or Newport, in the AAA playoffs is going to see a tougher opponent than what they're seeing here tonight. Both of these teams are outstanding, defensively and offensively. Newport has been hampered in its offense by the elements, the strong wind especially, unable to have that balanced passing attack where they can complete 7 or 8 passes a game. But you mentioned the key factor. Of course, the key play was a goal line stand by the Hounds, but the key factor may be that Wynn did look a little tired at the end of the second quarter, and Newport has momentum in the football game and have had momentum ever since the great goal line stand. Wynn could have put this football game away, I truly believe. They led 7-0, and then on their first possession they scored on Meben's long run, got the ball back, took it down to the 1-yard line, and Newport stopped them at that point. A penalty really helped, a 5-yard procedure penalty. The Newport defense played exceptionally well and has played well since then. Meben's had one other decent run, but all in all, only 3 first downs for the Jackets, so I don't think that Herbert Lewis and Kenny Black are at all disappointed with their defense. Now the Hounds have to find a little offensive balance against these elements and put some points on the board and crank it up in the second half.
Well, the Newport defense, Brad, has come in tonight with a new defensive scheme that they worked on for the last 2 weeks, where they run an 8-man defensive front. What happens when they're rushing their guys on the end? They're really not the defensive ends according to the formation, but they are cornerbacks or linebackers lining up outside the defensive end, and they're crashing into the backfield. And on Meben's long run that he made the touchdown on, we missed the tackle. Well, we saw it last week twice against Mariana. Come up to tackle either the quarterback or the pitchman, and we missed the tackle. If you're going to miss, you're gambling. You're gambling with an 8-man front. If you gamble and miss, they're going to score. Nobody's going to catch them. But if you gamble big time and you get in the backfield and you make the play, you can possibly cause a turnover, so you are taking a gamble either way.
6:20 to go in the game. Yellow Jackets with the ball. Quick pitch to Cross. He is hit once, twice, and spun down short of the first down. He did not get it. It'll be 4th down for the Jackets. David, let's see if they go for it or try to punt Newport into a hole and get Newport deep with 6 minutes to go.
It's going to be 4th and 2, Bud, and I don't think they have any other choice but to go for it. If they punt the football, Newport has the capability of running out the clock.
I'd kick it. I'm sorry, I'd kick it. Try to pin them down inside the 5 on a wet field against the wind. Even if you hold them on defense, they get a 20-yard kick. You got the ball at the 30. I would go for it. I would kick it, but wind looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down and 2. Here's the handoff, and he didn't get it. He did not make it. Newport is held. Newport is held on defense. The Greyhounds have stopped them at the 44-yard line, and it is 1st down for the Newport Greyhounds as the defense has held them again. And the Greyhounds have it at their 45-yard line. Tremendous defensive effort. 5:29 to go in the game. 14-7, the Greyhounds have the lead. And the Hounds want to use up this final 5:23. They, of course, would love to get another score, but they want to hold on to the ball and use that clock up. They'll have to make some first downs. Split receiver to the right side. Miller on the handoff. Bubba Phillips to the outside. Phillips has 10. Phillips is to the 30. He's to the 45. He's to the 20. He's to the 5. Phillips, touchdown. Now they may say he stepped out of bounds. I think they're going to say he stepped out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. The Channel 4 bunch is here. The Democrat Gazette is here. Channel 8 is here. Done some live coverage before and after the game. It's the game of the year in Northeast Arkansas. And an official's timeout, one of the Wynn players with a knee pad that has come loose. Pickup of only 2, 2nd and 8 for the Hounds from the 15-yard line. Newport leading 14-7.
And Bud, who would have thought it with 9:22 to play in the first quarter that the Hounds would have the lead after Meben ran 75 yards on their first offensive play, and it looked as though we were going to see an offensive performance by the Wynn Yellow Jackets tonight. Boy, what a defensive battle. Come on, Hound Dogs.
Secondary, Darnell Morgan drops back. in a deep safety position. And let's see if they throw it. They fake out into the flat, now throw it out into the flat. It is caught. He is hit once, twice, dropped it. Great defense by James Griffin. They tried to run a hitch pass out into the flat, and the Hounds stop them for no gain on the play. Greyhounds have held and will take over first down with 2:20 to go in the football game at the Wynn 21-yard line. The Wynn Yellow Jackets on the first offensive play of the night went 75 yards for their 7 points, and that's all they get. I hope that's all they get. They mark the ball down at the 23-yard line. The Hounds have to run out 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Newport will take some time in the huddle. I'm not aware of the timeout situation. Don't know exactly how many the Jackets have. Hounds just want to run 2 minutes off the clock. 2:01, now 2 minutes. First down for the Greyhounds. Miller straight ahead. Phillips has a couple of 3 yards before he's knocked down at the 20-yard line. And the clock continues to roll. David, if the Jackets have times out, they're not using them.
They've got 2, I think.
Now a timeout is called by the Yellow Jacket. Miller fakes left, rolls right. Paul Miller to the 20. Miller keeps to the 15. Miller to the 10. Miller to the 5-yard line and down inside the 5. First and goal for the Greyhounds with 1:41 to go on the bootleg by Miller. Great call by Bill Keaty. 1:31 to play in the ball game, and the Hounds picked up another first down inside the 5-yard line to go. Hold on to the ball. Let it run. Miller with the long count now. Miller to Tony Phillips. Phillips, touchdown. Phillips with a couple of cuts off left tackle in for the score to make it 20-7 Greyhounds with 1:05 left. And the extra point attempt coming by Denmark. Now Newport will get its kickoff team together and talk to them about not letting anything.
Both teams 5-0 in conference play. Newport going for it all early. Danny Burnett there for the acrobatic interception for Wynn. Wynn's first offensive play, they silenced the crowd. Eugene Mabon up the middle, stretches those long legs out, goes 75 yards, 7-0 Wynn. Still in the first quarter. This guy was a nightmare for the Greyhounds. Guess who? It's Anthony again. This time he's thinking 6 more. Breezes by a photographer down the sideline. He'll be stopped deep in Greyhound territory. The big defensive play. Do it, Henry Valentine on 4th and goal. That was a huge play. Newport comes back to win this ball game. The final 21-7. They remain undefeated.
Gene Maybone hits the hole and goes the distance. 74 yards for the touchdown. 7-0 Yellow Jackets. Bill Keaty would then rally his troops. But it was again Maybone taking this one outside, going around the right side, this time down the sideline, all the way to the 1-yard line. But it was there that Herbert Lewis's defense came up big. As here, Henry Valentine comes up big with the hit on 4th and goal. It's Greyhound ball. As Chris Ellis takes it in from short range, the two teams would then go in at halftime, tied at 7 apiece. Then after a scoreless third quarter, Newport went to their go-to man. It was Tony Phillips up and over. The fumble came after he crossed the goal line, 14-7 Hounds. And then it would be Tony Phillips again as the crowd got into it. Tony Phillips would again take this one around the left side. Newport takes sole possession of the 3A East Conference, winning 21-7 tonight. They improved to 9-0 on the season and 6-0 in conference play. And joining me, we had a lot of good defense here. This is Herbert Lewis, the defensive coordinator. A lot of good defense, especially in that third quarter.
Yeah, I think the goal line stand right there in the first half was one of the turning points of the ball game. But we thought that all along that if we out-hit them, that sooner or later they would have to give it down because they 4 or 5 players going both ways. And I think, like I said, the goal line stand right there in the first half was a turning point of the ball game.
Let me get some of the stars of this game in here. We've got Darnell Morgan and Joey Embry. Darnell, you being a linebacker, saw a lot of hitting tonight, didn't you?
Yes, sir. I knew it was going to be a very physical game, so Coach told us to get together, you know, and so we got together and put it to him.
Let me get Joey in here. Joey, an offensive tackle, you opened up some holes, especially in that first half.
Oh, yeah, our offensive line just took control of the game in the second half, and we come out strong and scored a couple touchdowns, go up 21-7, and we just took the game.
Best of luck to you next week as you travel to Batesville. That's all from here. Newport 21, Wynn 7.